Good morning, dear students, and welcome to today's session. Now, in this literature class, we are going to start our discussion with the play The Tempest, and today we are going to do Act 1, Scene 1 of the play The Tempest. Now, if you have gone through the text of the scene, you will find that this particular play opens with a shipwreck. The passengers on board on that ship are distinguished personalities, royal personas, and they include Alonso, who is the king of Naples, and ally of the Duke of Milan, that is Antonio. Sebastian is also present there, and Sebastian is the brother of King Alonso. Antonio is the usher-upping Duke of Milan. We address him as the usher-upping Duke of Milan because he has usher-upped the dukedom of Milan from his elder brother Prospero. Ferdinand is yet another character present on the ship, and Ferdinand is the son of King Alonso. Gonzalo is an honest, old, wise counselor to the king. Along with these royal personalities, there are many other characters, royal characters, who are on board on that ship. In the beginning of the play, we see that there is a furious storm arose in the sea, and this furious storm is blowing together with the noise of thunder and lightning. There seems to be no hope of survival for the passengers who are on board on that ship. Therefore, most of the passengers are screaming and shouting out in desperation. The storm, which represents chaos, violence, disruption, also gives the play its title, that is The Tempest. Now, Alonso, the king of Naples, he speaks to the boatswain, an officer on the merchant ship. He wants to know the whereabouts of the captain of the ship. The boatswain does not have the time to respect royalty, particularly at the moment when the ship is in the midst of such a terrible storm. He says, "What cares these roarers for the name of king?" He orders his crew to return to their work, and instead of taking command from the king, he orders the king to go into his cabin. Since these royal people on board on the ship, they were interfering in the work of these mariners, the sailors, or the boatswain. After the boatswain totally ignores them, despite the cursing by Sebastian and Antonio, who are not satisfied with the sailors' attempt in the saving of the ship. And Gonzalo, who is an wise counselor on board on the ship, he is also equally fearful of the sinking of the ship. However, since he is an wild old counselor, he makes use of his wisdom and he tries to lighten the entire situation by saying that the boatswain is so rude that he must be destined to be hanged. Thus, he is not likely to be drowned with him abroad. And therefore, since the boatswain has no marks of being drowned, he is a person who is fit to be hanged in the shores. Therefore, they have a hope that the ship may not sink. But the half-hearted joke of Gonzalo does not seem to calm anyone. In fact, by this time, the passengers, they start deserting the ship, trusting the roaring waves of the sea. And Gonzalo's last words, "I would fain die a dry death," hold out little hope for their survival. Now, when you see the scene in overall, we'll find that this is a boisterous scene with much noise and confusion. It is a dramatic spectacle. It is a dramatic spectacle. It is designed in such a way in order to catch the audience's attention and keep them in suspense as the audience wonder what is going to be the fate of the ship and the people who are on board on that ship. And the scene has many terms of seamanship, which shows Shakespeare's familiarity with the subject. The graphic picture of a ship drifting towards the rocky coast of an island, the action to be taken by the sailors to keep the ship under control, it suggests some knowledge of the ship and sailing. And the opening scene with its noise and confusion is designed to create suspense, since the fate of the ship and its passenger is uncertain. And the dramatist, through the storm and by showing the effect of the storm on the characters, he tries to suggest also the nature of the people. The feeble attempt of King Alonso to command the attention of the boatswain is a foreshadow of his lack of control over the events that are about to unfold. You see, a king generally is the most authoritative person in the dukedom, and he is the one who controls the events in his kingdom. He is a person who orders and commands the other people. But here King Alonso fails to command the boatswain. He makes a feeble attempt to command, and the boatswain is not ready to listen to the command of the king, because when it comes to make a choice between life and king, obviously people will choose life. So they were at that particular moment between life and death. So they were desperately trying to save their lives. So this feeble attempt of King Alonso to command the attention of the boatswain, it foretells that the king is going to lose control over the events which are going to unfold in the play. And only Gonzalo, who is the old counselor, emerges as the one trying to cling to his sense of humor with the attempted joke about the boatswain. One of his last statements, "The will's our be done," shows that he, unlike the other two, that is Antonio and Sebastian, he has some faith in an ultimate authority that is controlling the events. So therefore the scene ends on a hopeless note, leaving the audience in suspense about the fate of the ship and its passengers. In fact speaking, the scene is not very tragic, though there is a terrible storm arose in the sea, and though so many lives are at stake. Shakespeare lets us know that he does not want us to be too serious, because he makes use of subtle dramatic devices like the boatswain ignoring royal presence amidst the storm and the devastating wit of Gonzalo. There is suspense and the danger presented by the storm, but Gonzalo's satire relieves it to a great extent. And most importantly, this storm aroused in the sea gives the title to the play. It is a very short scene consisting of about 65 lines, but the scene is of vital importance since every subsequent event of the play. So, whatever actions are going to take place in the play from henceforth, they flow out of the tempest and the consequent shipwreck. So, in the next video, we'll be discussing the scene line by line. Thank you for watching.